Cinco de Mayo, the celebration of Mexico's victory over France in 1862. And today, it's a reason for me to teach you guys how to make some delicious, fall apart tender carnitas tacos. Welcome to Teo's Culinary Universe, where on this channel we're going to be doing recipes, food reviews, challenges, and everything in between. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn how to make some amazing, fall apart, tender, delicious carnitas tacos. Let's get started. I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by the idea of making carnitas because it does involve a lot of time and a lot of ingredients, but once you get everything started, it really kind of finishes itself. So I'm going to show you guys how I make my carnitas. This is not like the most traditional way, but it does take note of the traditions as well. I don't step too far away, so if you are a person who makes carnitas, you probably won't have to pluck your eyes out while watching this video. But I do add my own little spins on it here and there. But let's get started with the ingredients. Now, as far as the ingredients you're gonna need for the carnitas, you're gonna need some type of pork butt or pork shoulder. This is butt country style ribs. So this is pork shoulder butt cut into thin rib style. You're gonna need 1 orange, bay leaves, and cilantro, 1 onion. Usually people use white onion. I prefer red. Garlic. You're also gonna wanna get some manteca, also known as lard. This is optional, but I like to add a pinch of cinnamon or 1 cinnamon stick. And last but certainly not least, you're gonna wanna add 1 Mexican Coke. All right, first thing you're gonna wanna do is cut your pork into nice thick chunks. This is a very good knife too. It cuts like straight through it, one chop. I will definitely add this knife set to my description. So if you guys want to get this knife set and be able to cut stuff this easily, definitely go check that out. Next, you're gonna want to get your pot, turn on the heat, turn it to medium low. Then you're gonna open your manteca and toss the entire thing in there. Now we're gonna wait for this to fully melt. All right, once the manteca is completely dissolved, you're gonna start adding in your chunks of pork. You're gonna toss them in, and you're not gonna move them for 30 minutes. Trust me. Usually I'd say don't overcrowd the pool, but I'm very hungry. So I'm just gonna throw all these pieces in at one time and make it work. Now we're gonna leave this for 30 minutes without touching it. All right, during this first 30-minute interval, you're gonna wanna cut up some of your aromatics. So we're gonna add some garlic. We're also gonna add a little bit of onion, and we're gonna add some bay leaves. So let's get about 3, maybe 4 bulbs of this garlic. All right, so you're gonna get a piece of garlic, get a knife, use the flat side, push down, and the skin comes right off. Every time, perfect. Then I'm just gonna cut the very tip of this red onion off. You can keep the skin on, it really doesn't matter. Just gonna take a little bit of it off so it's easier to get out later. And then I'm gonna be throwing in 2 bay leaves. All right, once everything's in there, you're gonna let it get all homogenized and you're gonna leave it until the 30 minutes is up. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes. So right now I'm gonna fill up this bowl with about 6 to 8 ounces of water. Then I'm gonna add a few cranks of sea salt until this tastes like the ocean. I just like to add enough until it kind of tastes like the ocean, not too salty. You can always add more salt, but you can't take it away. Keep that in mind. By the way, I forgot to put on my apron. But before we add the water to the pork, we're gonna wanna stir it around since we haven't touched it in half an hour. You wanna stir it to make sure everything is getting good and crispy. Yeah, you can already tell, look at that pork. It's looking good already. All right, stir that up. Then you wanna add the water. Stir it up a little bit more. All right, next you're gonna grab an orange, make sure you wash it, and I'm gonna cut that in half. And we're gonna squirt all the orange juice in there and then drop the rest in. Just leave the rest in there. And this is when I like to add a little dash of cinnamon. Again, you don't have to. I just like the flavor profile that it creates personally. So I'm literally just adding that much, little dash. Give that one more stir. And we're gonna leave this for 30 more minutes. This entire process takes an hour and a half. So we're gonna leave it for 30 minutes and then we'll get to our last step. All right, so another 30 minutes has passed. Oh, the pork is looking immaculate. So now we go to the last step, which is going to be to add the secret ingredient, which is going to be a Mexican Coke. Quick tip real quick, if you don't have a bottle opener for a bottle like this, you can use a lighter. Just want to get some leverage on your finger right here. Slip it under the top and lift up. Easy as that. This is going to help make the meat extra tender. And of course, it's going to help give it that little caramelization to it as well. Because these Mexican Cokes have real sugar in them. Which is why you need to use these and not the, the normal American bottled ones with high fructose corn syrup. This is going to taste way better. All right, then we leave this for 30 more minutes. And now we can start prepping our sauce. All right, the food is almost done. So right now what we're gonna do is start on the sauce. So we need to go ahead and remove all the extras that we put into the meat. The orange peels, put those aside. You can toss them in the trash. But you're gonna wanna save that onion and the garlic because we're gonna use that for the sauce. Let's go ahead and fish those out. Now for the sauce, we're gonna need the onion that we took out of the braise liquid. We're gonna need some jalapenos. These are sliced jalapenos. They also have onion and carrot in there. I like these ones specifically. You're gonna want some fresh cilantro, avocado, lime, and Greek yogurt. Go ahead and cut this avocado in half. Sometimes I'll use half, sometimes I'll use a whole, depends on the size. I think right now I'm gonna use the entire thing. Just squeeze that in there. Go ahead and toss that onion in there. Pour a little bit of that liquid in there. Make sure not to spill it on the ground. And then add in some of those jalapenos. Go ahead and roll out a lime and juice. You want to add some fresh cilantro to it. And then I'm going to add some plain Greek yogurt. Put the top on. And then we give this a few turns. Admittedly, I added a little too much yogurt. I usually like it a bit thicker than this, but this is pretty much what the sauce is supposed to look like. Now let's give it a try. Oh, that's got a real kick to it. That creaminess from that yogurt, the sour from that lime, the freshness from that cilantro, and that onion. This is my first time actually adding the onion from the carnitas. I'm definitely going to do that from now on. Adds a really good rounded flavor to it. So we've got our taco sauce. Now let's take the carnitas out of the braising liquid and pop them in the oven so they can get extra crispy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and remove the pork. I'm gonna place it on a parchment lined sheet. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I personally don't like a floppy corn tortilla. So I'm going to dip this in the oil that we just made with all those amazing pork fats. And then we're going to fry it up real quick, get it a little crispy. And a thing that I like to do with my carnitas tacos is I like to add feta cheese. I mean, it's not traditional at all. But for me, the feta adds like this really nice sharpness to it that like it just fits so perfectly with that pork. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dip these and crisp them up real quick, and then we're gonna get our tacos together. I like to add the cheese while it's on the griddle so it can get a little melty. All right, we're gonna dice up some cilantro. And some onion. Some onion, some cilantro, green sauce. Okay, this was a true labor of love. This took a couple hours to make, but just look at that. Oh, beautiful carnitas tacos. Not much more to say. I'm just gonna jump in. Salud. Until you've tried these, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. When adding that Mexican Coke, I think does so much. It caramelizes the pork. It gives it this like sweet outer layer. It's not like too sweet. It's definitely still got all that savory flavor in there. This spicy creamy sauce, amazing. That feta cheese, that sharpness. Ah, man, this is in the pork. This pork, I cannot understate it. So tender. You gotta do a Corona. Cheers. I think this is probably the best carnitas I've ever made. This sauce is definitely killing it. That onion made all the difference. Well, yeah, guys, that's how I make carnitas. If you do it different, let me know what you do down in the comments. So this is my first video on this channel, and I'm thankful to everybody who clicked on. Appreciate you so much. If you want to see me cook some meals, try some foods, review things, do some challenges, all that kind of stuff, just experience the world of culinary arts and everything in between, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. But that's going to do it for me, guys. So thank you for stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know downstairs what you want to see next. Till then, peace. All apart, tender carnitas. So let's get started. Jesus Christ. Okay.